Can you believe that I am on the Gold Coast of Africa? Wow. 51 years took me on a personal journey to get here. And it's unbelievable. It's, you know, I'm looking around, you know, this area, and I'm absorbing, you know, all that I see right now and all that I saw on the 3-hour journey from Accra, through the villages and through the cities, and all of the imagery of how people live and how people function and how people get along and what community looks like. And then reflecting on that and thinking a little bit about, you know, what we look like in America, and how our communities look and how we're surviving and how we're failing and how we're thriving, and then trying to, you know, figure out and really make sense out of what this trajectory is about. You know, how did I get here? What is it about my journey that would have me land in 2013, 51 years into my life, here on the shores of Africa? Discovering myself through rediscovery, trying to figure out, you know, where I fit and how I fit, and, you know, understanding that, you know, it wasn't just 3 short weeks ago that I actually fully forgave, you know, my father for not being in my life and abandoning my family and not pouring into me in the way that I believe that he should have poured into me. And being able to release that burden from him 3 weeks ago, in order for me to be freed up today to explore myself and not have him as a barrier or a block, you know, in this conversation around who I am and in this discovery process of understanding, you know, my African roots and who's at the core of my very being. And it makes it less significant, not insignificant, but it definitely makes it less significant that I know ultimately where I came from. And so I know that, you know, my father was a black man, and I can only assume that his roots would lead me to these shores. And I'm not exactly sure how or why, and there are ways to find that out, to understand, you know, really who I am. You know, I'm excited about, you know, the DNA test that I'm going to take when I get back to the US that's going to confirm, you know, exactly where my lineage is from and who I came from and how I came to be, and just who are the Braswells, or who is whatever name I am, and, you know, what I will learn about my history and my heritage, and to empower my children to want to do more and be more and understand more and go further and save people and really settle, you know, in their true heritage. So I am, you know, excited, you know, about where I am today. I think that everything that I've done up to this point has been designed and destined by my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and God Himself. That there were no accidents in the mistakes that I've made in life, and no accidents in the choices that I chose, and the paths that I walked down, and the decisions that I made. You know, I think that, you know, everything that I am is wrapped up in who I will discover, and I think God has a very beautiful plan to unwrap that, to really unwrap who I am, and to allow me to discover it, to allow me to really relish in the fact that, you know, I come from kings and queens, and that my life has relevancy, untold relevancy, and that it has power and majesty and nobility, things that, you know, I've never considered before, words that I've never used when it comes to my name, Braswell. And so I'm just looking forward to continuing to unravel this journey and continuing to walk in this path that God has laid out before me, without clear understanding of where it's going, other than to know that wherever it's going, that it's going in a place that God has designed for me to be there. I'm hoping that I will continue to be who I'm supposed to be for Him, to understand my destiny in a way that continues to empower me and my family and my community. You know, my community, my lost community, for the most part, not everyone, but my lost community. Hoping that, you know, that there's some key here, some door that will unlock for me, that will allow me to better understand and deepen, you know, the work that I do, and to unlock combinations that God has placed before me, you know, with the other 17 people that are here from Leap for Ghana, and that there's some combination in the things that we will collectively discover that will unlock a door that will allow us to make a change in our communities that we have not even begun to imagine, can't imagine the change. I know that where we are today is not where God intended us to be. I know that for a fact. I am extremely conscious, you know, that we are to live in abundance, and we are to live as His Son lives at His right hand, that there's nothing about poverty in that. And this is evident of that, because even in what visually might look like despair and poverty, there is a level of faith, hope, joy, settledness in the faces of these Africans that I've seen over the last 4 days that is indescribable, undescribable. How can a people be so happy, wear a smile so often, living in what we consider to be bad conditions? And I think the answer to that is that they just simply live. They just simply live.